a long time. First time I experienced 2 was, of course, back in the PS2 days. Please to God, don't let this be true. I haven't seen anything about this yet, but I seen Rev's video pop up, and of course, I'm a big fan of Rev. I watch a lot of his videos, so without further ado, I guess let's get right into it.
Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we have multiple stories involving
Jesus.
video game related news
Okay. My computer's shitting itself. Let's go.
and drama, starting with the Silent Hill 2 remake. And just like a lot of recent remakes, it is a complete dumpster fire before it's even released. Now, the Silent Hill 2 remakes team has recently announced that they want to be faithful to the original game.
Well,
However, they will have to adjust things and some
Wait.
factors.
Silent Hill 2 Remake aims to be faithful, will adjust scare factors for contemporary audiences? What does that even mean? The developers' 2 games currently in the works, Layers of Fear and Silent Hill 2 Remake. Okay, let's see what else they say about it.
For the contemporary audiences, which is also often described as the modern audience, which basically dead on arrival. Okay, you hear that phrase being used by the developers of an upcoming release, you know that thing is gonna flop. Okay, those words should actually concern you because every time it's used, it's typically followed up with some virtue signaling crap that is reflected in the quality of the game.
But you can't do this in this game, right? I mean, if you're gonna be faithful, but you still try to make it for, I guess, modern audiences, the whole big draw, well, the biggest thing of Silent Hill 2 was, like, the psychological aspect of him seeing, like, these nurses in this sexual way and feeling guilty about it, tormenting his psyche while his wife was dying. So, I mean, can you really even twist that without kind of destroying the whole purpose?
Now, Silent Hill 2's remake. This is what it looks like. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is how it is being tailored for the modern audience, okay? And despite some wackadoos on Twitter saying, this is actually 100% better than the original,
No.
I think we all know which one is the more traditionally attractive model here. And it's really kind of crazy thinking about the insane gap of years between the development of the original versus the remake, and how, despite the increase in technology, this is what we get in the remake. It's absolutely insane.
Bro, her eyebrows are as thick as mine.
For the team behind this, the
Jesus.
developer team is the Bloober team, which is as goofy goober as it sounds, okay? It's a fitting name for these people who are pushing to appeal to the modern audience. Now, before we get into some of their quotes from their team, let's remind ourselves who the Bloober team is. They're responsible for the cult classic Layers of Fear from 2016, and what a great excuse to use this Germa clip from back then. This clip right here really gives you a peek into the twisted minds behind these horror classics and the team that's going to be responsible for Silent Hill 2's remake.
How did I do that again? No shit, go back, I want to do it again.
Surely that's not supposed to be a jump scare, though.
I think I'm gonna die.
That's just
camera.
goofy.
I think I'm gonna die. I feel like the asset is loading right here. You know what I mean?
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
I can't even fucking imagine why you would have to do this. I can't even process why you would have that. Scary game.
That's right, Silent Hill fan base. You can breathe a sigh of relief. You know you're in good hands with
my
this
God.
remake. Now, of course, it should also concern you that the distributor of this game...
Okay, before Rev gets more into it, that was goofy as shit, first of all. Second of all, like, Silent Hill 2 was a legitimately scary game for me. I guess it wasn't, like, in the traditional terms of scary, it would give me intense anxiety, you know, walking through the town and you hear those noises and stuff. But that shit was just goofy. Anyway.
is, of course, Sony, and that comes with a whole lot of issues, and it's probably not surprising that we have clips like this going viral on Twitter from the Bloober team talking about how they want Silent Hill 2 to preserve the authenticity of the original game while also adapting a horror classic for modern audiences.
But how?
This is one of the most
I don't know.
offensive lines
I
you
don't
could ever
know.
see as a gamer. Like, I would have had more respect for this team if instead of a remake, they just grabbed a bunch of original copies of the game and just threw them on the floor and then took a steaming shit on them, than to see this phrase being used as kind of the moniker of this remake. This is ridiculous and nobody wants this. And again, a lot of people are confused. Why are you mentioning this modern audience? People in the replies, all of the top replies are asking,
Right.
who is the modern audience?
Please
Why do we
don't
care
let
about
them
them? And
change
why are
it
you
to be,
tailoring
like,
your
super
game
political
to
correct.
fulfill their needs?
Please
Well, I
to
think the
God.
best way of describing the modern audience is basically the loud screechers on Twitter who complain about things just for the sake of complaining about it, but never have any actual interest in purchasing the game that they're trying to change to fit their delicate sensibilities. And I think this comic really gives a pretty good impression of this cycle. So you can see here the creator saying this: I made more of the thing you like, and the actual fan base saying, oh great, we love it. But then some loud screecher, probably from Twitter, comes in saying, I do not like the thing. You are a bad person if you do not address the fact that I do not like the thing. Then the creator shamelessly
Okay, yeah.
changes
I guess that
the
is
thing
kinda
to
true.
tailor the loud minority here. And then the original supporters say, wait, I don't like this change. Why'd you change it? We don't want to support you anymore. And then, left with no one but the modern audience, the creator turns to the loud complainer saying, will you still buy the thing? And they say, no, I never had any real interest in the thing. Many, many, many such cases. Now, you might have also noticed, who is Bloober using as their engine? So they're using Unreal Engine 5, which should explain a lot. So Unreal Engine is making the promise that they're going to provide all of the tech you need for a expansive open world experience for your gameplay and yada yada yada. Unfortunately, that seems like it's only a possibility if you align with some of their moral beliefs and their woke nonsense, because they also recently have stated
Coding
this.
standards.
So Unreal Engine coding
What?
standards now require video game studios to use inclusive language in programming and documentation. It's not even about the publishers anymore. It's not even about the developers.
What?
This is at the core of it all. Even
Why
in the
would you
creation
put
process,
that
even
as
in
a
the programming
requirement
and
in
the
programming?
documentation of files, even you have
I
to
don't know.
use
Maybe
inclusive language that won't
stupid.
offend anyone who might come across it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, here is some of those changes and requirements that are being pushed by Unreal Engine. Let's listen to some of these. Inclusive word choice. When you work in the Unreal Engine codebase, strive at all times to be respectful, inclusive, and professional in your use of language. This applies when you name anything, like classes, functions, data structures, types, variables, files, and folders, plugins, and so on. It applies when you write snippets of user-facing text, the UI, error messages,
Bro.
and notifications. It
What?
also applies when writing about code, such as in comments.
So, I don't get this. I mean, I get the whole, inclusive thing. It's good. It's just, it should just come down to, hey, don't be a piece of shit. I mean, but to have to, on such a basic level of gaming development, you have to be like, you need to be inclusive even when naming files, folders, classes. So I'm gonna guess you're gonna have to be like, oh, you can't use the word poor. You know, that's a derogatory thing towards classes. Like, I don't get it. Like, racial, ethnic, and religious include do not use metaphors or similes that reinforce stereotypes. This includes those that contrast black and white, such as blacklist and whitelist. What? Wait, you saying you can't use the term blacklist? Do not use words that refer to historical trauma or lived experience of discrimination. So you can't use the words slave, master, or nuke. So, what about shit like Fallout, where the whole nuke shit is an integral part of the games? Like, master, that could be a variety of things to like a medieval sort of sense. Gender, oh, Jesus Christ. You know what? I'm let Rev take it over. I'm going to stop talking about it. Get myself in trouble.
And change list descriptions and so on and so forth. So yeah, basically every single factor that goes into coding or creating a game at its foundation must adhere to a inclusive word choices and standards that we just read. And you'll see some of the general topics like racial, ethnic, and religious inclusiveness.
What about
do not use metaphors or similes that reinforce stereotypes. This includes those that contrast black and white, such as blacklist / whitelist. Now you can see other topics like gender inclusiveness and slang here, and they'll give some examples of no words that, according to Unreal Engine at least. So blacklist, no longer allowed. You have to use alternatives like deny list, block list, exclude list, avoid list, unapproved list, forbidden list, and permission list. Ah, thank God. Well, what about whitelist? Nope. That shows some sort of power imbalance. You have to use alternatives like allow list, include
list. This is so dumb. I swear to God.
I'm getting like some brain damage reading this. This is so ridiculous. Also, for master, here's some alternatives. Primary, source, controller, template, reference, main, leader, original, base.
So you can't use a term like master code.
Like a master list of something, and they immediately think about slavery, but they're the ones who are like saying that you're the bigot because you're innocently using this word.
Like,
very strange stuff. But yeah, let's continue on here from.
Oh Lord, yeah, that's crazy because, like, just in that mindset, right? If you think of, just say the term blacklist. Like, certain people have been blacklisted, these companies are blacklisted, blah, 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 right? If the first thing that pops into your mind is the racial stuff of black and white, I mean, that's more on you. It more shows that, hey, you're the one that has these thoughts at the forefront of your mind. Like, that is crazy. Like, I've heard the term blacklist, for a long time, of course. You hear about people saying they're blacklisted from, say, like YouTube, stuff like that. Never has there been a single, nanosecond that I heard that term and it was like, oh, it has something to do with black people. Like, that is so stupid. That shows, if nothing else, you're the ones with this, racist mentality. I don't know. It's crazy. Like I said, I need to stop talking.
One Sony-influenced release to another, and that is Stellar Blade. We have to revisit this. It's been at least a couple of weeks since we really talked about Stellar Blade. The last time we really talked about it was the...
Also, just on a side note, I haven't played Stellar Blade yet. Though I really want to, because I'm a big fan of the Nikkei mobile game. I'm sure we can all guess why. Because the visuals are very nice. And two, the stories are actually really good and heartfelt. Anyway, yeah, that aside.
The censorship of the original patch of this game that removed some outfits as well as blood and other things from the game, which is obviously upsetting to a lot of people
Crazy.
who purchased this game on the promise
We live in
it
a
would
time
not
where
be
they're
censored.
removing blood.
Now, throughout the entire
We're
process
back to the
of
NES
Stellar
Mortal
Blade's
Kombat
creation and
days,
release,
or
journalists
SNES.
have been seething and crying about it, whether it was in the teasers of this game
Claims
or the
the top
actual
spot
release.
of the April
and
sales
now we're
chart,
seeing
so it's
even
the
more
lowest
coping and
sales to
seething
lead in
when
April
these
since
sales
prototype.
reports are coming in. You can see IGN right here literally wiping away the tears as they write this headline saying, Stellar Blade has clinched the top spot of the April sales charts, though it's the lowest sales to lead in April since Prototype 2. They can't even give a compliment.
Okay, I know nobody gives a shit about my opinion. But guys, if they see, an attractive main female character, they'd be like, ooh, maybe I want to play this game. It's not dissimilar for women. I mean, let's be real here. First of all, take Leon from Resident Evil 4. He is an attractive male character. You gonna tell me there aren't women out there that's like, oh shit, Leon's kinda hot. I might want to check out this game. I mean, that's just the way it is. Anyway, I really need to stop stating my opinions.
This game was the top selling spot for the April sales charts, and they can't even view it or frame it as a compliment. They have to do it in a backhanded way.
Of course, saying
that's
it's
trying
the
to
lowest sales to
insult
lead
the
since
success
Prototype.
of Stellar Blade.
Wasn't
Now,
Prototype
ever
2 a
since the
great game?
censorship of the outfits and other themes in the game, a lot of people have been putting pressure on Stellar Blade, Shift Up, as well as Sony to revert these changes and give the gamers what they were promised. Now, here's one of the initial lists of the updated patches for this game, fixing some general things, but a lot of people were searching around, what about the censorship of the outfits? Will they turn this around? Well, they ended this list with a and ... There is no continuation. That is the end of their notes here. Just an and ... And a lot of people were thinking, well, maybe that is a sort of foreshadowing towards some fixes in terms of the censorship. Well, not really. So here's what would actually be released in some of the upcoming patches that were released shortly after that list. And of course, we see some outfits here that do show a lot more skin and resemble some of these censored outfits. However, a lot of people were praising this without realizing the original outfits are still censored. These are just new outfits and new variants. The original variants are still censored.
True,
so
but the
basically, it was
game's
a
out
bait and
now,
switch,
so,
where they didn't really change anything. They just added in more outfits without
how
going
it
back on
is.
any of the original censorship. So, a lot of journalists like those.
Yeah, my opinion on it is, I get it. People could be hyped up for, the main character having these, like, sexy outfits and stuff, but this type of censorship isn't uncommon. I mean, growing up, you see it all the time. Like, when Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out, there'd be, like, weird censorship choices. Not only with the most famous of the guns and stuff, but, like, some of the monster designs, like, they would give them more clothing as to show, like, less cleavage and stuff. I mean, it's not very uncommon, so it's not something I'm super salty about.
Kotaku used this as a chance to mock people who were confused as to how to view this, with this title here saying, Free Stellar Blade Movement can't decide if new outfits are sexy enough, which of course, as always, with every single Kotaku article, there's only two explanations for the way that they're framing this article. Number one, either they're complete idiots and they have no understanding of what they're trying to talk about, or they do understand and they're just disingenuous in trying to frame the issue in a very biased or even just outright wrong way to fit their own agenda. And as always with Kotaku, they are all over this. They have to write 20 to 30 articles every goddamn week just to keep the lights on. So basically, they have to do anything they can, especially with these new Stellar Blade updates, to stay relevant. And there would be more articles coming out like this one saying how to get Stellar Blade's new, very revealing outfits, with this little statement under it saying, just when you thought you've seen enough of Eve, now you can see almost all of her, which is obviously done in a very snarky way, implying that they don't want to see any more of her, which is odd. Like, okay, you probably shouldn't play the fan service game if you don't like fan service. But it's written by
they
this
need
Claire
those
Jackson
clicks.
individual.
That's
and
all
you
it
can
boils
see
down
it go
to.
on throughout the article. They get very upset about all this stuff. They say, oh, hey, there's a new cute attire for Eve and Stellar Blade thanks to version 1.003. And yup, adults on the internet are reacting in a totally healthy, productive, and mature way about it. Well, no, that's not effing true at all. As expected,
Oh my
some
God.
people are thrilled to see more digital nudity, while others are stamping their feet, upset that Shift Up hasn't given them what they wanted, which is free speech and digital tits. Y'all know porn
bro.
exists, right? This is the most obnoxious
This
phrase ever.
woman that wrote
Yes,
this
people know
title
porn
is
exists,
super
but you know what?
salty.
There's a difference between fan service in a fan service video game versus hardcore pornography, and I am sorry your brain is so clouded that you don't know
Oh
the
my
difference.
God, she is
People were
so
promised
upset.
certain things and they weren't
That's
delivered.
crazy.
And as always with every single Kotaku author, if they're gonna boo or criticize fan service from Stellar Blade, just go to their account and try to
Right.
search for anything that has to do with Baldur's Gate 3.
Right.
And of
That is
course,
an
ding, ding, ding,
insane
here's Claire Jackson,
double
the
standard.
same author, making this article about Baldur's Gate 3, saying Baldur's Gate 3 players now speed running sex. Speedrunner May shows us how to skip all the boring parts and get straight to the hot stuff, which I would imagine is like the uncensored
This is an
full frontal
insane
genitalia in the game,
double
or
standard.
also like the scenes where players have the option
My
to have
God.
sex with bears. That's probably what they're referring to, and of course, that's
That is also crazy to me, though. Because, okay. You get to this point of, like, I don't know how to explain it. You're mad at Stellar Blade because of the players wanting more revealing outfits and stuff, which, I mean, I kind of get, but then to have the double standard about how, oh, sex in Baldur's Gate 3, you know, how to get straight to the sex, and praising Baldur's Gate 3 for that is crazy. Anyway.
totally fine, that's totally kosher, but anything to do with Stellar Blade and the character Eve, oh, gross, icky fan service, just go watch Poontang instead, as expected with Kotaku.
What the fuck?
Now we're going to move over to Sweet Baby, which obviously has a lot of relation to Kotaku.
Of course.
And one of their
Here we
clients
go.
and their projects they work on is God of War Ragnarok. And just like anything they touch, whether it's their direct influence or not, there's always something wrong, okay? And this is the latest news involving God
Of
of War
course,
Ragnarok.
I've been seeing
Apparently
this.
now Sony is going to require users to install and link up a PlayStation
that's
Network
not
account
surprising at
on
all.
PC to keep playing this game. They have learned absolutely nothing from the Helldivers 2 fiasco, which, by the way, is still a mess, despite Sony somewhat pretending like they're going to fix the concerns of players there. But as you can see from the replies, people are seeing through this crap. Okay, they've had enough.
I like Rev, but I kind of disagree with Rev on this point. Like, yeah, if they didn't like require a PSN, there of course would be a larger install base because the countries that can't get access to it would still be able to get the game. I get that part, but every other company does this same thing. Like, if you get an Xbox game on PC, you have to log into a Microsoft account. I mean, same with Ubisoft, same with Epic Games. I mean, it's the same, so I feel like it's the fact that people get a taste of getting a PlayStation game without having to do that. They're like, oh, we like this. And, of course, they go back to doing it, and it's a huge problem. That's probably my hot take on it, but I mean, I just don't quite get it. I mean, I get it, but don't at the same time.
Bro, why? It literally has zero multiplayer elements, unlike Ghost and Helldivers. Time to bully Sony again, because this is outrageous. Sony failing to learn a lesson. So it's okay when it's Microsoft or any other company, but it's bad for Sony. Y'all are desperately pathetic, and people are still trying to defend all this stuff. It's crazy. They just do not learn. So yeah, people are pretty fed up
Like
with
I
this,
said, I
and
have
of
a
course
different
people are going to
take on
still
it,
support
but
Sony
that's
and their
okay.
decisions no matter what, but that's just kind of par for the course at this point. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about with today's video. A lot of different topics and some frustrating stuff, if you're being honest. But that's going to do it for today. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below.
Of course,
Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
I did enjoy. All right, so for anybody, that's funny. For I've already watched this video. All right, for anybody who hasn't checked out Rev's channel, please do so.